Hello everyone, my name is Savannah Kepley and I'm a middle school language arts teacher, and I am here to hopefully help you plan for a new school year. Now I'm going to start a new series here about 5 things that you can do this summer in order to have a great school year. Now I know summers are super special, right? We love our summers. In fact, I'm getting ready to go to the pool with my daughter in a couple of hours. Like, summers are sacred. So I'm not talking about crazy amount of time things that we can do, but just small 5 things that you can do. Take a little bit of time while you're drinking your coffee in the morning to organize yourself and get ready for a new school year. Now this is gonna make the start of your school year amazing, right? Like, you're gonna come in, you're gonna be confident, you're gonna know exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're going to do it, because you're ready, because you spent a little bit of time this summer planning and prepping. And you know, when you get to school, like those first couple days, you have the meetings, you have the classroom set up, you have the parents coming in, you have so much on your plate. So just doing these 5 things are going to make you feel confident and ready to go. So let's get started with thing number 1 that I would do, or that I am doing, to get ready for a new school year. So the very first thing I do is I list out everything that I want to teach. Now, I'm not talking about like every specific thing. I'm just talking about the standards. I'm a standards-based teacher. So what that means is I take the standards that our state gives us, and that's what I'm teaching. I'm teaching our short stories, books, novels, articles, whatever. Everything I'm teaching is related to those standards. So I need to lock in what standards I'm teaching and when. So I'll list out the standards on a piece of paper, and then I order them in importance to me. So I put those standards at the beginning that I think will show up a lot throughout the year. So those are standards like inference, text evidence, central idea, theme, figurative language. All of those standards I teach at the beginning, because I don't just teach it and forget it. I teach it and then keep bringing it up as the year goes on. Keep applying it with the new standards that we're teaching. So those power standards go at the beginning, and then I kind of order them from there. After I have everything listed, I think, how am I going to structure my day? Now, I have found something that works for me. I'm going to link the video below. It's called Structure Secrets, like how I go about structuring my classroom. And it works for me. Like, I segment my classroom into little time slots, so we're constantly moving. So for example, first we have bell ringer, then we have word study, then we have our content mini lesson, and then we have an application time. So it's 4 boxes that we have that I need to plug things into. So I have my standards, I have how I'm going to structure my time, and now I just need to create a plan for the year. Now, I'm not talking about specifically every little tiny thing that you're going to do. That comes later. I'm talking about a general overview, kind of like a roadmap, or I guess a pacing guide of what you're going to teach and when. So you have a general idea of where you're going, so you're not just like willy-nilly pulling activities and lessons and doing random things. Like, you have a roadmap, a plan. So let's look at mine. This is my general overview of the pacing guide that I use throughout the year. Now again, this is my ideal world. It doesn't always happen like this, but this is my roadmap. So I'm not just like, you know, randomly assigning activities or don't know where I'm going. I know where I'm going each moment, and then I fill in my activities based on my roadmap here, or my pacing guide. So these are my bell ringers at the top right here that you can see. QOTD stands for question of the day. I always like starting with those, and then I incorporate some grammar bell ringers in there as well, and then I just switch it up. These right here in blue are my standards-based bell ringers that I use, and so we are focusing on a certain standard in our bell ringer, and it typically always goes with our standard skills down here. So that is our my bell ringer section, and then over here at the end of the year I do some spiral review bell ringers. Then word study. So this is the vocabulary, and I think last year I only got to lesson number 20 because I combined morphology with vocabulary, so it took a little bit of time. And then of course you have those odd weeks like Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holidays and stuff. It kind of messes up the flow of word study. But anyway, this is ideally what I would like to do. 3 lessons a week. And each lesson that I do 7 new vocabulary words. I do 10 word parts, and we put them together on a quiz. And then on the next quiz, they have some review from the previous quizzes. So that is word study. And side note about word study this year, I loved it. Like, I love teaching morphology with the vocabulary together because they started seeing how words were created. And then when we got to unknown words in their reading, I'm always, I'm like, what word part do we know? Or what word inside of there do we know? Can we figure out the meaning? So I think word study this year, it takes a little bit of time. I take about 10 minutes a day to work on it, but it was super beneficial in students understanding how words are created. All right, from there, this is my content lessons that I do, and this is what I'm focusing on throughout the year. So again, we always start with inference and text evidence, figurative language, story elements, and so forth. As you can see, the pink, purplish color is my literature standards. This yellowish color or golden color are informational text. And then we have our review right here. Now this compare and contrast is also pulling in some literature standards as well. So this is how the order that I teach the standards in. Now again, it doesn't mean that when we get down here, I'm forgetting about inference and text evidence. No, I am just I'm just kind of building on each other. These are my building blocks, if you will. Within these content lessons, it's when I am teaching like my mini lessons or my quest activities, like that kind of thing. So we're really understanding the standard. And then after that, then we go down to applying it. So this is where I pull in our novels, our short stories. You can see all the short stories I have right there. Do some writing where we're applying some of this stuff. And then we go into nonfiction, argumentative writing, and then I end with mythology. So this is where I pull in my books, my short stories, and my articles and stuff like that, my poems. I pull it in the application section. So we always take our standards and then we're applying it with whatever we're reading. For example, we start out with the novel Ghost because they really get into this. Like they like the book, and it's a series, and it continues some of them reading. It's a high interest novel with a great male protagonist. So I really like it, and has a lot of action in it. So they enjoy it. So what we do, we are teaching inference and text evidence. Like, we're constantly like, what can we infer about these characters based on their actions? I'm really bringing that up. And if you want to know more about how I do this, I have an annotations video that I will link, and that way you can learn how to teach your standards with your reading. So that is it. That is the very first thing I would do, is to lay out what you want to teach, when you want to teach it, kind of the months that they go in. Now, you don't have to follow this perfectly. It's just giving you a general idea of what you're going to do. Now, if you're interested, I do have this as a free download. If you want to use mine, you can. It is a Google document, so all you have to do is edit and put in what you want to do. That's your choice, or you can just follow what I am doing as well. If you're an ELA Unlimited member, then all of the activities and resources, bell ringers, reading stuff, all of that is inside ELA Unlimited. So you can just download it and plug it in and play and go on with your life, right? But if you're not, that's cool too. You can just download this resource and use it as you need to use it. If you have any questions, let me know. Tomorrow I'm going to come back with tip number 2 of what I would do this summer. It might have something to do with classroom management, because we want to lock that in order to have a great year. Anyway, I'll talk about that tomorrow. I hope this helps, gives you some ideas of what you can do this summer to plan for a great school year. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.